Hello everyone, happy Throwback Thursday. The rotation leads us to a Bionicle review, and this one's on the Thornatus V9 from 2009, of course. So starting out with the driver of all, Thornatus. It was a quite unique one where both he and Thornatus are that come in the two bigger vehicle sets here, which are the only Glatorian drivers of the vehicles. It was unlike with the other ones, which had like Agori-sized ones. However, great to have an extra Galtorian for here. So, like, as for just for the legs of which, all of which similar to that of the Mystica Antros that came in the Jetrax T6 from the year prior, but with a recolor of the Viscerac limbs instead of black, dark red for that. Then as for the body part of which is just a basic Bionicle build, and of course with the Galtorian neck piece there. But on the back side, these three Technic pins sticking outwards, but it's kind of a bit for putting into the vehicle, which I'll show later. But now as for the arms here, which had the newer style Viscerac limbs, which three of the Galtorian Legends cancer sets all had, but he here has it in black, which also carried on into Rotor in Hero Factory the following year. But however, great to have it black, but this at the time was about $60, and Rotor then was only $20 for that. So Rotor was a cheaper alternative to getting that. But how it's kind of attaches these, because that is underneath which are these traditional half Technic beams on a basic pin there, and then the Bionicle thigh armor attaching onto the sides of it. So quite unique to that, but also making it small enough for him to have a lot less room to fit in the vehicle then. And the forearm, just a Toametru limb, and then Galtorian hand in gray. And obviously, just like the three Fire Tribe characters like Ranu, Malum, and Akar, which all had some gray on them, but obviously represent Ashton here for him. Then as for the head basket area, which take that off, and there's the traditional Iron Man Galtorian head, but in trans yellow, which some of the sets of this year all had. And then as for his helmet, which just the same piece as Samad from the Baran's V7 set, but in dark red for that. So not sure why that is, although would have been better if it was an all new different kind of helmet piece. Or maybe even a recolor of Metis's helmet piece, but in dark red for that. But maybe that wasn't a lot. But that's just me. But however, it still kind of works out for that. Which, as you can see, it has quite a lot of open space in it, and but at least kind of stands out a bit more than on Sama in the Baran's V7 set, of course. So now that is about it with driver Thornatus. Now onto the vehicle, the Thornatus V9 itself, which, as you can see, quite large for how it is. Like this was large and quite impressive for the $60 it was back in 2009. But of course, probably with all the Technic beaming of it. But whereas for the building experience of it is kind of simple for that, where it's built just the front part and then the back part. Unlike with the Scopio XV1, which is next Throwback Thursday, which is kind of a hassle one, which I'll say for it by then. But also, from first glance, does look almost like a similar look to the Jetrax T6 the year prior, but has a lot of difference to that, which I'll say later. But also, from first glance, a lot of tan pieces, like what Zesk and Vorax in the Winter Wave, which all have. But however, this switch a lot of tan for that. Definitely useful in some Technic mocks if you wanted. But yeah. So like as for the front part of which, just the Mystica shield piece in tan, which also neat and useful for mocking, and like further upwards is the Kalma foot piece in gunmetal gray, also like we saw on Baranus on the Spicatin with the Baranus V7 and a few others, and you see plenty of beaming going on for that, and then Toametru foot piece underneath, which most likely to act as like an equaled out uh, scoot or something, and does kind of slide in outwards for the main feature, which I'll show later. And then underneath the which do have these a couple of little Technic gears here, but most likely just to help with stabilization when it's in this folded up mode to that. And luckily does roll quite well for that. And then further downwards have some extra beaming or beams going on to here, and then with a light stave on there, and then just like what the Brass V7 also had, and were the large spiky power miner wheels for that, since obviously workable in the throughout the wastelands and all of Barra Magna, and then also on the sides, which are the Baraki Elect claws for that, probably acting as like wheel covering things for that, and then acting as like a wheel hinge kind of area, which are the mask headpieces of Wakuda Mystica Krika pieces, but in silver for that, which great useful for mocking for that. And same with the Krika blades in the front. Well, even though those were also used on the Jetrax T6 the year prior for that, but however, still great to have here for that. And also great thing about this set, perfect symmetry to that, like most of the vehicle sets all were. And then as for one of the wheel assemblages, which as you see the Technic beams that are in the wheels have a bit of tan in them, unlike with the Baranus where it was in yellow and just really stuck out for that. So good to see it kind of blend in with the color scheme better. And then as for this front part of which has a life counter dial for the Bionicle figure game for that, and then also, and like the other vehicle sets, are these large equaled out gray Technic beams, but get a lot of them in this set. Same with Scopio for that. Then further back, which is the traditional finned Paraka foot in silver, and then Ananika shoulder armor piece there, but acting as the seat of the vehicle, and then have the Titan leg pieces, but just acting as like joysticks and all, giving it kind of a lie down go-kart kind of style. And then as for the canopy part, almost like the Jetrax T6 for that, but it does have these Marnu Matoran daggers on top of them, and then downwards it goes down to a scope piece that Mystica Gali the year prior also had, but not sure. Probably acted as like a viewing part for the Thornatus on top for that. Yeah, probably what a good idea for. And then on top of which is another Mystica shield piece and another Glatorian life counter piece there, which of course, like most of the vehicle sets, have two game dial pieces for this version of the Bionicle action figure game. So double the game pieces for double the power, of course. And then on top of which is this little thorax launcher area, which kind of pivots on two parts and swivels on one other end, and can fire off like the rest. And then on to the back section, which has just a few of more Technic beams and a little panel underneath for that, and then a couple of tubes going from it and then into these back beams here, and which protrude out and hold the Medax Sky Blasters, which, and obviously, like how they usually go, like is turn it and fire off. And then as for the setting of these, we'll get about 4 of these, which is always quite neat to see. And this, which the one set with the most Medax Sky Blasters in it, and but unlike on some sets where these top ones kind of fall off quite easily, so to which I think there should have been like an extra beam to hold it in place more. Even though that would have bumped the piece count and the price up like an extra $10, which would have been fine with me. And then in the back side of which is this big, large wheel, or spiky wheel piece there that swivels really gratefully. And then a couple Technic gears like we saw on Kodak and Godok and Sidorak in the prior years for that, which honestly to act as washers for it to spin extra freely. And now to getting Thornatus in the vehicle is you can like fold this upwards and then and like kind of lie on down for that, and then just have make sure the blue pin connects onto the hole in there like that. And then as for his hands, put them into the axle rods on there. And then can close the canopy part over him quite well, and works out just well, very well. But although in the Legend Reborn movie, which where Kina and Metis kind of wrote in this, kind of took over that, but luckily they do have enough room to fit onto it as well, and let them ride in it if you like. But as for the main feature is, if you pull on this part and extends right out, and let's see that again. See, then it's like even wider for that. Really neat for how it is. Like got the blades kind of spread out for that to ram through Voroxes and Scrawls for that. But yeah. And then as for the wheels and mobility, they just roll very gratefully. So the rolling around pushability, which is just great for how it is. And then also like in the Legend Reborn movie, that some of the characters kind of like stood around on this beam area and also on the sides of it for that. Unless if you can find enough pins and axle rods and pins or Technic pins to like connect them onto it if you wanted. And now this design, which may be quite similar to Jet Rax T6 from the year prior, in particular the yellow one, but however the design, it's actually a few different bits. Jet Rax T6, which did have a couple large engine parts around it, but however, that which was actually a flying vehicle, this is a ground driving vehicle, so has wheels for that. And of course, big wheel in the back, but Jet Rax T6 not at all any back wheel in the back, of course. So, and of course, Jet Rax was in Cardinui. This is Barra Magna, so obviously quite logically how that is. And that's all there is to say there. But yeah. So now on to the final verdict. Hang on. Okay, so now on to the final verdict. Overall, I think this is a really cool set for how it is. Like, plenty of good swooshability, and all the wheels roll very gratefully, and also, and obviously, you do get a lot of tan pieces for how it is. Like, and also a lot of neat firepower with all the Meat-Axe Sky Blasters and the Thornax launcher, of course, and also two game life counters, which all the vehicles of this year should have for that. Even though Sendox and Baranus and Pharaoh and Skirmix all didn't, but luckily this one quite does for that. And then as for the driver Thornatus, which I think he could have had a little bit more dark red or at least gray for that. But maybe that would have been a little too much. But it also would have been nice if he was in light red like Akar kind of was. But however, the dark red still kind of workable. But and of course this has which also works out as a big large parts pack of tan and other Technic bits for that, which definitely useful for your mocking if you wanted, and also a few recolors here and there for that. And well, it may be kind of similar to Jet Rax T6, but also about $10 more than Jet Rax T6 the year prior. But however, it can still kind of workable for how it is. And as for the $60 it was back in 2009, and also which really good. And of course, this which was most likely a great set in 2009, but today still well holds up for how it is. But yeah, like playing great playability and great pieces for how it is. But yeah. And now, if any of you still have this set from back in the day, well, I hope you had some good memories of it. And for those of you who haven't and are still looking to get this set, I'd say definitely pick it up. eBay, Bricklink, Mercari, Bricks and Minifigs, whatever. And that's it with this video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.